What's going on, everybody? So I'm out here trying to finish up one part of the kayak. I will show you the update on it here in just a second, and to see kind of how far I've gotten. I've been working on just a little bit here and there during the week. The weekend's coming up and I plan on putting a lot more time into it, so let's get started so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so after a little bit of work and a lot of measuring, I've got my holes drilled for, this is the back of the kayak. So this is where the trolling motor mount is going to go. So what I've done is I fabricated a brace, I don't know, I had to get this level because as you can see, there's a drop off here between the top of the kayak and going down into this open area. So I can't really just run a piece of metal or aluminum from the front and then back. There's nothing stable for it to sit on. So what I did is I fabricated this, which I'm not going to put in right now. I'll show you that if I can get the camera set up. And this is going to sit down in here, and it'll be the right height for me to be able to put the rest of the aluminum. I'm using a aluminum tubing, square aluminum tubing, I believe is what it's called, that I had left over from another boat project that I did. And so I'll show you this as I get it, after I get it put in, and you can kind of see how it sits. Okay, so here's the, now I can't remember what I called it. So I've set this up to where it's just barely above. If you can see the line of both sides of the kayak, if I can hold the camera still, you can kind of see if you line up both tops, it's just a hair above it, which is fine for what I'm doing. And I'm going to mount the aluminum on the top of this, and then it'll extend out to the end of here. And then there's a little adapter I added to actually attach the trolling motor to. All right, so here's the mounting plate, bracket, whatever you want to call it, that I built. You can see it's pretty flush, except for that little top part. It's flush with the top of the kayak. And this I've mounted on because I'm trying something out with this, basically just this little lock, door latch kind of a deal, to hold the top part on. The metal part that's going to actually hold the motor, trolling motor. So put in some silicone, put in some bolts. These are 3-inch, which is a little overkill, but for some reason I couldn't find 2.5-inch stainless. They went from 2 to 3 inches, and so I've got stainless washers. I got lock washers and nuts on the bottom. All of it is stainless, and I'm gonna give this a shot. I had first put screws through it because I have wood under it. I have a wood plate that's about as big as this. I don't know if we can see this one go underneath there, but that's a weird angle, but that's what I did. I may cut those off. I may not, depending on if I think they're going to be in my way for something. But so this was kind of the next step to finish this off, and then I've got to get the aluminum, square tube aluminum mounting plate that's going to actually hold the motor on, and I'll give you an update from there. So this is what I've gotten so far. This is how I'm mounting the trolling motor on. I've got my square tube aluminum that is mounted onto my bracket, or whatever I'm calling it, just to make it even with the top. And then as you go back, you'll see that I've got the aluminum going back. There's, I don't know if we can see it, there's another aluminum, square tube aluminum going across, which has been brazed on, which I didn't do. It was just like that. It just happened to work out the size wise. And then I've connected a pressure treated 2x4, which hopefully won't bother my aluminum, but we'll see. And then I've put another block here that I notched so that it would go down so that I could attach here. And then I've attached underneath, up into it, to the side, and through into the other 2x4 that's on the inside here. And then my trolling motor is set up, and I wanted to have it come down so that I don't have to worry about water getting into it. I saw some that just stopped here, and then they had the wiring coming out, which I'm sure is fine. I mean, unless you're out in the rain, I'm sure it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I wanted it to come down. I'll probably change this out or just glue it in better. It's not, I tried gluing in with just some other glue temporarily, but it's not really holding. But it gave me a nice tight kind of a connection under here where the wires are coming out. Now I'm getting ready to wire the switch, and it just clicked. I don't know why it took so long. It's been a long day trying to fix my other boat. That's a whole nother video and story. So I'm just trying to think of it as a switch. I'm going to mount my battery back behind here. I got a nice little Duracell. This is a 35 amp hour or 33 amp hour, 12 volt. It's an AGM, and I got these at the Batteries Plus or Batteries Plus bulbs or whatever they call it now. And it was I was looking at a 35 amp or a 35 amp hour anyway, but with that being a 33 amp hour, it wasn't really that much of a difference. I'm not going to need it to go for like 4 hours on the water or anything like that. So, and it was half as much basically as the 35 amp hours. They were like $89, 90 something dollars. The 33 amp hour was $54.99. So I just went ahead and got it. Figured those 2 amp hours aren't going to be that big of a deal, at least for what I'm doing. So we'll see if everything holds up just right the way I want it to. But I'm thinking of, as I'm wiring this, I decided, it just clicked like I said, that I'm just going to run it like I'd run a switch inside of a house. I've got my power, my battery will sit back here, and that's my power source. And so I've got power that's going to run to the switch, hook it into the power source here on the switch. These two are from the battery, and then the other 4 wires are going to leave out of here and go back to the actual trolling motor for 4 wires coming out of there, and that'll control everything else. Now this is all, I'm going to drill a hole here and run all the wiring down in here into the actual boat, into the kayak, and then run it underneath. So none of this is going to be on top of the kayak, and probably come out here somewhere, maybe up underneath here. And then I've got some tubing that I'm going to use probably to go from here, from up here where I come out, and just go down in here and just probably tape it off or do something, and then secure the switch here. I would have mounted the switch on my seat, but then I realized that I take my seat out when I transport, because I usually flip the kayak upside down and mount it on here on top of my Xterra, but I may not be able to do that. My hope is that what I can do is I can take this off, which will take the motor off, and I can still mount this on top of my Xterra without any issues. This would just have to hang over back behind the back of the roof, basically the roof rack, so this won't hit the roof rack, which I think I can do that and it'll be okay. And this, I just used some 1/2 inch. I think what I'm going to do though is take this off and change it out and use this cutting board material, because I think it won't split as much. Now it's thin, it's about the same thickness, it's a little less, so I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. For now, I'm going to leave it like it is. But anyway, so power going from the battery, which will be here. This is my power cord. Battery coming from the battery. Maybe overkill, I don't know. This is just on, it's coming from my other 12 volt that I had on the other boat. So it's going to come from here, go underneath. Actually, this one may not go. I may just run this under and going in. I'm not sure yet on that. And then it'll connect into here for the power. Okay, so the moment of truth. I've got the battery connected. I've got to get some different connectors, because those are way too big, because I was using them on a different trolling motor. So I'm going to get some different connectors, but these are tight. I got everything hooked up. Got things temporarily kind of wired together just to test it. And everything's running up here to my switch. So all that's connected in there. I'll give some details on that later, but let's see if I don't know if I can turn this with my fingers or not. But I'm going to give that a shot and see. So we're going to go back here to the motor and see how this works. If it'll turn. Oh yeah. So that's running. Nice. Off. Let's see. Back to off. Or neutral, I guess, but off. And I don't know which one's forward and reverse on this, because I didn't mark that. There's 4 clicks one way, I think, and or 5 one way and 3 the other for reverse. So we'll see when we go the other direction. Turn it with my hand. All right, hang on. I'm gonna try and do this with the pliers. There it goes. Nice. So it works. That should only be like speed 1 or first speed or whatever you want to call it. So it's all done. So now I'm just going to have to drill. It's getting late, but I'm going to drill down in here, have that sealed somehow, run everything underneath the kayak, on the inside of the kayak, get this switch set up in here, sealed. I got a lid cover to go on this, which is a waterproof cover. Just gonna make sure I can fit everything in there. I may have to cut out some pieces like these center screw holes, which I don't need because the cover goes into the outer edge of them, and then seal it, screw these in and seal this down, or screw it down and seal it also, so that'll hold it still. I was gonna put it here, but it would set just a hair high. Again, I flip my kayak over when I run it when I mount it to the roof, which maybe I'll stop doing that, I don't know, but I like it that way. But then I wouldn't have been able to put my box of my lures underneath here, which I've been doing, and I wanted to save that space. Thought about mounting it on the side, but then I'd have to kind of look at it and it'd be weird if I mounted it down here. So I think I'm just going to mount it here and just deal with it, and then I'll hook up steering controls on another time once I get all this done. This is kind of first step for me, just to get it running, and then I'll get the steering controls set up from people I've watched online. So appreciate y'all watching, and I will update you once I get everything ran through the kayak. All right, everybody, so quick update. I've got this, will have to get, I'll adjust some of this here, but I'm gonna tape some of this off. This is just to help kind of cover it so it doesn't look like there's a whole bunch of wires hanging out, which there would be. But I've got this taped off down here. I had to add some quick connects. This isn't my favorite way to do it. Now this one large one, this is great, but these, I don't know if I'm gonna like that. I may change these out because I have to find a way to take the motor off when I'm transporting it, because as I've said, I don't just throw it up on top with all the other stuff on it, and the motor and the wiring is all connected together, and I haven't figured out a way to do it. So if anybody else has a better way, y'all can let me know in the comments. And I've got this other hose, which is a plumbing type of hose. It is a bilge pump plumbing kit that I picked up, and the hose is actually going to be perfect, and it's a perfect length. I had to cut just a little bit off of it, and I'm going to run the rest of the wires once I connect them through here. I'm going to have this run down here. It won't be in the way of my crate. My crate's going to fit perfect right on top of this. The lip of it will help hold it down, actually. And then it's going to feed under the seat, and then it's coming down here to where it'll mount into my control for my switch. This is where the switch will be mounted, is here. It's the best place I could figure out where to put it at. It's not my favorite place of where I really wanted it, but I didn't want to mount it up here, so I decided to mount it down here, and that's just where it's going to be. So I've got a hole that's drilled in the bottom, and I've got a connector coming out of the bottom of the electrical box. This will go down in here. It's held on with a nut. I may or may not hold it down extra with the screws. We'll just see how it is. I'm going to silicone it, so I think that'll help hold it, and then once I screw it on tight, it should be okay. And then the wires from the, picked up a battery box. Well, it's an ammo box, but I picked it up to use for my battery, and it fits real good in there. I've got a little extra space in there, which is good, because what I decided to do was I've got a quick connect here somewhere in my mess. Oh, here it is. So this is going to be mounted into the ammo box, so I'll put it probably right around here, and it'll go inside. This part will go inside, and then this will be flush with the box, and it flips open. It's got a little spring door on it, so it'll open up, and I'll connect this in. This will pull out. I've just got it tucked away in there because I've been connecting wires. So that'll go in through here, and it'll connect into the battery that'll be in here inside the box, and I'm just going to have it sit here until I find a better way. I was going to put it in the back, with my basket, but I figured with the extra weight of the trolling motor, the weight of the basket, the weight of all the gear, me sitting here toward the back technically, and I couldn't fit it into the holes. It won't fit in here. So I was going to just put the battery on the inside and mount it inside here, but it won't fit. So could have gotten 2 smaller batteries, I guess, but I just wanted to get one. So I'm just going to mount it up here. I'll probably have a strap on it or something to hold it down. I'll probably put some eyes, some little, where are they? Little eyelet hooks that I've mounted in some other places. I'll probably put some of these here just to strap it down and to keep it from sliding around too much. I'm just going to give that a try and see how it goes. And then connected this in with the hose, and it's not going to go anywhere, and so I've got it tight. I've wrapped some tape on the inside edge of this, and then I've slid it on and slid it up into it, and I think that's going to be good. I may tape it off just for extra waterproofing. I haven't decided yet. And then my wires will just run up from here, and they'll come up for the power. So power's coming in. I got my fuse, and coming from the battery will go up into the bottom, and we'll connect into the switch, which I can't seem to find right now. Again, I got stuff everywhere. Anyway, it'll connect into the switch, and the bottom of the switch will go down here. I had to cut off the connector a little bit here at the top because it'd stick up too far. And then the other wires from the back of the trolling motor, all 4 of those will come in here and connect also. So all of my wiring will be in this box. Man, wow, if it was a snake, it would have bit me. It's right there. So that'll mount here. It'll go down in here. It'll be a tight fit, but I'll be able to raise it just a little bit, so it won't be all the way down in there. It'll be up just flush with the top pretty much. And then I'll have to drill a hole in the lid and then connect the lid to it, and it'll be all sealed off. All right, folks, here we go. So got the little hose run, which I may have had last time I did the last update I gave you. Got the wiring run. I'm going to have to shorten these up here because those are a little longer than I want them to be, but I didn't want to change them out on the other side. So I've got that running under. I got a mess too. It's going under my seat. Coming out, going here into the switch box. And then it's going out of the bottom of the switch box. You can see the hot and the neutral there, fuse, and then it's going up into this, which this is the only thing I haven't really secured down yet. I just want to make sure that I had everything done right before I locked everything down. So, and I got a little quick connect, just the regular trolling motor quick connect, which are actually hard to find unless you get them online. You want to wait a week, but it's finally get them at a couple of different academies. So that just plugs in, and I mounted that into the side of the box where I'm going to keep the battery, and open it up. Battery's in here, hooked up. Got some foam in there just to keep it from sliding around too much. I'll adjust that later. I have to put a little bit on this side and maybe some on the ends of it here, somewhere through here probably. And here we go. I'm going to try to turn the switch while I keep the video on the trolling motor. Now I know it worked a while ago anyway. At least I think I had that in the last clip that I put on. So, but now that it's all in, here we go. And there she goes. So it's got 5 speeds, forward 3, or I think it's 2 or 3 backwards, I can't remember. Back to off, and there we go. So it's working. Really happy about this. This is going to be a really good addition to the Kayak. I wish I had a way to, hide this. Maybe next year I'll get a couple of small batteries and install them inside. That way they're not this huge thing sitting out here, and should be good to go. Oh, and this port down here was, it was just one of the plugs. Well, I think it's maybe a drain plug, or if you can use it to tie off. Wow, that's noisy. Hang on a second. Okay, so this was just one of the, I don't know if this is a tie down of sorts, or if it can also be used as a drain port in the middle of the boat. I guess if you flip it upside down, maybe. I don't know if that works, but I think it's more used for a tie down. But I just took it out because I didn't think I needed it, and it fits perfect here, and I can silicone this and get that to where it's nice and sealed off. This will kind of like curve around a little like that, something like that. I don't know, we'll figure it out. So there's not too much pressure on it, and we'll keep it moving. So hopefully I'll have an update soon of me using it. It'll probably be not this next video that this is on, but the next video. So have fun, y'all keep fishing out there. Let me know in the comments, let me know what you think. Like the video if you like it, subscribe if you want to. I'm hoping to get a lot more content out soon. Hit that notification bell, and hope to see you on the water.